Fusion food is hands down some of my favorite things to make, period, when it comes to food. And today I'm taking two incredible cuisines, Argentinian and Turkish, and I'm combining them into an awesome brisket sandwich that is packed with so much bold flavor. So stay tuned and let's go ahead and let's make this shit. Okay, so today is another day where I'm like, what kind of foods do I want? Do I want Turkish? Do I want Argentinian? I can't decide. So I'm gonna combine them both into a sandwich. I've made this sandwich before and it's really good, so please stay tuned. This is an awesome sandwich. And we're gonna be using brisket for this as well. Very excited for that. So let's go ahead and let's make this shit. Why don't we? Okay, so to kick everything off, I'm going to start off with a whole purple onion, which I'm going to slice down. And what I'm doing here is I'm getting ready to make the sumac onions. So just get these into nice strips, just nicely sliced. I'm going to go through the entire onion here. Then I'm going to go ahead and put those in a bowl and then add some cilantro. Now, you should use parsley. I chose not to because I wanted to add some more cilantro. I feel like it gives it a nice kick to it as far as flavor goes. And then about 1 to 2 tablespoons of some kosher salt. That will then be followed by some olive oil, about 1 to 2 tablespoons of that. Then I'm going to add in sumac. So about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of sumac. I like quite a bit of it. So definitely taste it if you haven't had it before adding it to your onions. Then we're going to go ahead and add in the juice of half of a lemon. You can use a whole one if you would like. I did in mine. I just like the extra acidity. And then give it a good mix. And there you go. We have our sumac onions. They are finally done. And these are honestly really good. I love these onions. I will just eat them out of the bowl. I don't even care. They're delicious. I'm going to go ahead and put these in the fridge and start working on the chimichurri. So for the chimichurri, I have a mix of washed cilantro and some parsley here. And I'm going to go ahead and start setting this aside. Then I'm going to work on some Fresno chilies. So I like to add quite a bit of Fresnos in my chimichurri just because I like it spicy. So I use anywhere from 2 to 3 to even 4, depending on the spice level of the peppers. Then I'm going to go ahead and add in the juice of half of a lemon. If you have red wine vinegar, you can definitely go with that. I was out, so I went with some lemon juice instead. Then I'm going to go ahead and add in 4 cloves of garlic to this because I like my garlic. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and add in some olive oil. So the olive oil will be about, you could say 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil in this. And then I'm going to come through with about 3 tablespoons of crushed red peppers because I like a lot of heat in my food. You don't have to do this, but I did. Then everything will go into the blender and you want to pulse this a little bit. If you want it chunky, then go with the pulse route. A lot of people like it chunky. If you want to just blend it, you can do that as well. Then I'm going to go ahead and start on the sauce. So the sauce starts off with some plain Greek yogurt. I use whole fat Greek yogurt every time. And I'm going to go ahead and do about 2 to 3 tablespoons of that. And then about 4 cloves of minced garlic. Since I'm making a small sauce, I'm just going to use half of a lemon here. So I'm going to go ahead and juice that. And then about a teaspoon of kosher salt. And then I'm going to give this a good mix and just set it aside in the fridge after I made a mess here. Set it aside in the fridge for when the sandwich is ready. Now we have our brisket, and I'm going to just start off with some oil here, and I'm going to come through with salt and pepper. So I would say about 3 to 4 tablespoons of fresh ground pepper and some salt. And then I'm going to add in some other ingredients as well. One I'm not a big fan of, which is cumin. So got to have it in this recipe. It works with it. So I'm going to do about a tablespoon of cumin, and I'm going to do the seasoning to both sides. Now I'm going to follow through with some smoked paprika. I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of that, and then the juice of a lemon. And you can do this cooking process for your brisket before you make all the sandwich ingredients, add-ons and all that. That's perfectly fine. So give it a nice rub on one side, then give it a quick flip and do that on the other side. And I can tell you, this is actually a lot better if it's smoked. I couldn't smoke that day. I just tossed it into my Instapot or pressure cooker, as you will call it. And that's one way to do it. You can also braise it. That tastes really good as well. So I've got this pressure cooker on high right here with some oil in it. And I'm going to go ahead and sear both sides. All right, and then I'm going to come through and add in an entire container of beef broth. And you can add in some water too, just to give it some more volume if you want to, before you pressure cook this on high. Now, one of my favorite things to do when it comes to sandwich bread, since I don't have an open flame grill, is I will actually take it to my stovetop and just butter the inside of the bread. This is a hoagie roll here, and I'm just going to char it. There's a really good Argentinian restaurant nearby, and they char their bread over wood fire, and it tastes delicious. So for some toppings, I'm going to start off with, yes, more Fresno chilies. You probably think I'm a psychopath with how hot I like my food. But if you want to follow me with this, definitely go for it. If you're not a super heat eater, I would recommend not adding more chilies to this. So brisket is done. As you can see, it's steaming here, and I am going to go ahead and let this rest. You want to let this rest for a little bit. You can cover it with some foil, butcher paper, whatever you want to do. And if you are making this recipe and you have access to your smoker, you can use it that day, I definitely say go for it. So I'm going to go ahead and slice this up, and I just want little cubes, edible cubes that we can eat in the sandwich. And even though I said that, doing this in a smoker or braising method is the best way to go, I wanted to do this also so that people could see it done in a pressure cooker in case they don't want to braise for 3 hours or smoke. So once it's all done, I'm going to take that broth, heat it up, and put some of the meat into the broth just to soak up all those juices before we start making our sandwich. For the sandwich, it's really simple. So we're going to take our hoagie roll here and go ahead and just add that garlicky, creamy sauce there with the Greek yogurt. And then we're going to start coming through with our other ingredients, which is going to be our brisket. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that in there. And then I'm going to start coming through with the chimichurri sauce on the other side of the roll. Then adding in my chimichurri sauce here, I am definitely not stingy with it, so I'm going to add quite a bit. And then I'm going to start following through with our sumac onions. Then I'm going to come through with our Fresno chilies that we sliced up earlier. And then finally topping it all off with some beautiful, freshly washed arugula. And there we have it. The sandwich is done, and I have to apologize for the upcoming footage. The camera was blurry. All right, and we're done. So I have to say, I love this sandwich. This is an awesome sandwich. Preferably, I love it smoked with a skirt steak, but we didn't have that today. We did a brisket, and we didn't have the time to smoke it fast enough. So I'm going to go ahead and dig in on this, and yeah, there it is. Wow. I don't know what to say. With the arugula, the sumac onions, the chimichurri, the beef, the yogurt sauce, man, this is an amazing sandwich, and it needs to be hailed. So I'm going to keep eating more of this, and to all of you, thank you so much for watching the video, and yeah, cheers. I'm out.